Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Will, this is Crooked Chicken, and here is another Crooked Chicken review. Today we'll be covering the latest episode of the Winchesters, the Supernatural spinoff. This is episode 4. Now, I have been very skeptical and just kind of negative about the show, but keep in mind, I do want it to succeed just because I do love the Supernatural series. And sadly though, this show has been very underwhelming in kind of all realms. It's been underwhelming in acting, story, and just a little bit of everything. But somehow they did it. This last episode was just a little bit better. Now, don't get me wrong, the monster that they had for this episode still looked like something out of Power Rangers. I was waiting for Rita to show up at any second to make her monster grow. But, this last episode, it was a little bit better for the simple fact that they had a little bit of character development that really, in my opinion, kind of helped. It's not anything that I think is going to save the show, because I am already hearing that this show may not even get a next season. As also, as far as Jensen and Jared are concerned with the jobs that they have at CW, I've also heard that Jared's prequel series to his Walker show may not even get a second season. But I guess with the new direction that the CW is going and the new leadership that's in place there, I'm reading that this might be a thing. Like, they don't want to jump the gun and give freshman shows new series or new back orders on second season, in a hurry or anything. So I guess they're still waiting to see maybe if the performance picks up or whatever it is. But that's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing that the Winchesters doesn't even have a second season yet. There's no back order for it. They've just got this first season, which is only supposed to be 13 episodes, I believe. So, kind of with all that said, let's jump into this next review. Now, this week's episode was kind of focused around John and Carlos, and it's revealed that Carlos actually served in the armed forces as well. He was in the Navy, and he was also overseas around the same time, well, probably a little bit earlier than John was. But this week they go to investigate a mysterious murder in a veterans clinic, kind of a veterans rehab clinic or therapy clinic, where these guys are gathering up to talk about their experiences in war or just their service in general. And so they go to kind of investigate this because it does kind of hit home for John, being that he is a Marine that served in Vietnam. And it's during this little group that they sneak into under false pretenses, obviously. They go in there posing as this... They go in there posing as the friends of this guy that was recently killed. And, they're talking about they get in this group and they talk about their service and everything. And that's where Carlos kind of details his service and the things that kind of traumatized him and what he's been living with and everything. And, him and John kind of blows it off, actually. He doesn't want to talk about his experiences overseas and what's happened to him and the friend that he lost that was revealed in the first episode. And so they have this other guy that's in the group who kind of has a little outburst. He runs off. John goes to chase after him because he talked to him kind of a few minutes earlier in that scene. And the guy kind of disappears, and then they find him dead. So naturally, they kind of believe that the doctor is responsible, like he's some kind of supernatural beast that is killing these guys for whatever reason. So John confronts this doctor, and this doctor is obviously not the guy because he was there the whole time, when this other guy got killed. And so they go on to investigate further. And so we jump back to Mary, and she is with the guy. She meets up with the guy that she went to the movies with in the last episode. Turns out he's kind of a reporter. And so she goes to him to kind of get some background information on what's going on. She says she's a friend of the family of the guy who was recently killed. And so we get back to John and Carlos. They're continuing their investigation through all of this. And Carlos and John, they each have their own bits of PTSD. So this thing kind of preys upon that. And kind of exposes Carlos to it and then John too, and they both wander in this room, and suddenly they are in like a jungle type area, like the Viet Cong, like they were when they were in the service. They kind of get into an argument of how to deal with this thing, and lo and behold, they turn around and Carlos steps on a landmine, and John is just kind of thrust back to that moment that he loses that friend on the landmine, and Carlos has to sit there. He gives him the same look and calls out his name and everything, and this beast shows up, and this guy and this monster that they have to fight, who turns out to be a god, I guess, and it's the guy that's supposedly died when John and Carlos got to this group and the guy stormed off and everything. And it just turns out that this guy, and he's some kind of ancient god. He wants John to join him in fighting the Akrita and more or less kind of join him and take his place as someone by his side and be a fellow god, I guess. And naturally, John doesn't really want to be a part of that because it comes with, all the shit that he doesn't want to do. And so while they're in this little kind of altered reality, because this thing can alter the reality around them, Mary and John's mom and the other hunter, they go in search to find this thing's weakness, and it turns out it's a vase, and it's hidden in the ceiling of this dude's room, and they figure out if they destroy it, it will weaken him, and to the point where John can kill him, and that's exactly what they do. They smash this thing, and John kills this dude, and it's just kind of over from there, and that's just kind of the hunting kill part, and we it's just kind of a typical thing. But the interesting part of the episode, to me anyways, was during all of this, we see bits and pieces of John's PTSD from his time in battle. They go to the morgue to investigate and to kind of look over the body of the first guy that was killed. And he's got this silver cross just like his friend had when he died, and he got shrapnel bits in his arm from it. And, you just see this kind of peppered throughout the episode where John has tremors and everything from being just from the memories that he has to deal with. And they kind of just do that throughout the episode. And then at the end of the episode, we just see John kind of completely broken down. He's fully clothed in the shower, and just, it's a really kind of sad, pathetic moment. And his mom comes in there to try to comfort him. So we see John in this really vulnerable state. Just that alone kind of made him a little bit more interesting. And then we also see Carlos. He's going back and continues to talk at this group. And I guess, so hopefully maybe they dive more into their background with whatever time they may have left with this show. Because like I said, we may not even get a second season, which sadly is not surprising. And the episode kind of closes up with all of that. Just with the little bit of more backstory that we got for John and Carlos, that's what made this episode just a little bit better. Other than that, it was still very subpar and just very underwhelming and very underperforming. And the dude that they had playing the god, I don't think he could act that well. I know it's not for me to really criticize someone's acting ability because I am not an actor by any means. But I don't know, he wasn't selling it, I guess. But, with all of that said, it's just another episode that kind of adds to the pile of disappointments with a little bit of improvement kind of mixed in there with it. Other than that, it was whatever. And, I'm still in both camps. I still hope it gets better, but it sounds like it may not get the chance, which sucks because I went into the show hoping that it would be really good just because it had some of the supernatural creative team behind it, including Jensen. And it just sounds like it may not get the chance to really prove itself, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. Anyways, guys, that was my review and kind of a little news sprinkled in there as well about the show itself. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. And if you feel so inclined, please subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. And as always, leave comments. I always reply back to them. I'm really interested in what you guys have to say about it, and I would like to carry on the conversation. So, I guess that'll do it, and I will talk to you later, guys. Bye.